What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tastes Like Music. Jason and Joe here, coming at you with a review. A new record from a band that we've done the full deep dive discography album ranked on, Judas Priest. You can go check out those videos. What's that? About a year and a half ago we did that. But they got a new one out, so we gotta stay on top of it. So we're bringing you the review. This is the third Judas Priest record of the Richie Faulkner era. I'm expecting Joe to be raving about this. The fan reaction so far that I've seen online has been exceedingly positive. Fans of the band are super into it. Usually I kick it over to you, but I think maybe I should go first and let you bring it home with your big 5-star, whatever it's gonna be. First thing I noticed, I put it on. It's incredibly quiet on streaming services. It is, and I'm not saying that as like necessarily a negative thing. It's nice to actually have that happen from time to time after years spent in the loudness war. It's nice to have a quiet record that you can actually turn up if you want to hear it louder. I found that interesting compared to pretty much everything else that came out yesterday. It's like half as loud. So I think there's a lot of positive things here. I'll preface my review by saying I think the band still have great chops. Everyone's playing at a high level. Halford still sounds great. Everyone sounds energized. It's not like a going through the motions type of record. I think they're all playing, really hard, really well. Production is good. I think it's well produced. Everything's really crisp, really clear, and it sounds modern without sounding like forced modernization. So I think sonically everything happening is pretty darn good. And in that respect, I understand why it's being praised so well. For guys their age, I mean, it's beyond what you could expect from anyone in their 70s. I do, though, think that it will be interesting to see how these albums, this and especially the last one, Firepower, I think it will be interesting to see how they're thought of in like 20 years and like where people sort of think of them in regards to the rest of the catalog. Because even though I think there's a lot of positives happening here, I think the material itself is fairly forgettable. I don't think the riffs are super interesting. I mean, they're going for it. They're playing really hard. And it sounds great, but I don't think the parts themselves are super interesting. I think a lot of it sounds like metal by numbers. Not a lot of really cool and interesting riffs. The choruses, I think, are mostly pretty bland and forgettable. A lot of just Halford, even though he sounds vocally sounds great, a lot of what he's doing is just like shouting one or two words like panic attack. He just says panic attack over and over again. Not really a melodic hook. Invincible, he's kind of doing the same thing. Invincible. It's like, I don't know. Crown of Horns, pretty good. Good choice of single. That one has some groove to it, some feel. A lot of it is just them like blasting through these songs with as much energy and force as possible, which I'm sure a lot of people that are like Priest fans and metal fans in general are really gonna be more psyched about than me. But I like when there's some finesse and some groove and some feel to the playing, a little more than just like the fast, double bass kick drum plowing through. There's a track on here too, Escape from Reality, where Halford sounds so much like Ozzy. Did you notice that? I had to check to see if it was Ozzy. It's like, is Ozzy a guest on this song? So there's some moments that are cool, and I enjoyed certain songs more than others. But I think on the whole, it just didn't really excite me musically, even though I think, Priest fans should be, ecstatic about it because it sounds great. It's just, I had to look and see what I gave the last one. I feel about the same. I gave it 3 stars. I'm giving this one 3 stars as well. I just don't think the songs are there, even though they're doing their thing.
I guess. I mean, I'm obviously going to disagree with that. I thought Firepower was great. Didn't think, I thought Priest in the 2010s was sort of just winding down. Each album was just, a little worse than the last. Angel of Retribution in 2005 was, a good comeback with Halford, and he had Nostradamus where they were doing some weird Iron Maiden stuff. Redeemer of Souls was fine, first without KK Downing. So I was pretty impressed that they were able to like liven back up with Firepower and really just like harken back to the glory days. The speed, the ferocity still sounded great. And I heard the three singles from this album, so expectations off the charts, sky high. Because I liked all three of the singles a lot, especially the two faster ones. Panic Attack and Trial by Fire, I thought were better than anything off Firepower. And I think as a whole, I think it sounds great. I think it sounds better than Firepower even. It's produced by their touring guitarist Andy Sneap, which is his second one after Firepower, and the band just sounds incredible. The guitar solos are great. A lot of reminiscent of like Painkiller. Some sweet picking, some tapping, some just really impressive stuff for I mean, Glenn Tipton's 76 years old, which is just nuts that he can still pull some of this stuff off. Ian Hill's 70 plus. Scott Travis is only 60 something, and Halford's 72. So you got some septuagenarians in this band just totally kicking ass. And I think the album itself is their best since Painkiller. It's cliche to say, but I think song for song, it's really good. You got the big singles, the big just shred fests, Trial by Fire and Panic Attack. You have Invincible Shield, which is a big fist pumper. I love the way the album comes in on Panic Attack with that sort of like 80s, fake 80s drum sounds and some synth and stuff like that. It sounds great. Maybe not synth, maybe it's just guitar, but it sounds like a synth. You got Serpent and the King, which is pretty, there's some typical Judas Priest by number stuff. Serpent and the King, a little typical. Devil in Disguise, yeah, I mean, they're typical, but they're real high level stuff. There's nothing bad on here. Crown of Horns, a ballad, nice change up, a real melodic solo on that. Escape from Reality, really, yeah, it's weird how much that sounds like Ozzy Osbourne. Like not even just the vocals, but like the overall like tone and groove of the album. I was like, this is very Ozzy-ish, which is, hey, that's fine. It's a little change up again. Giants in the Sky, some nice like acoustic Spanish guitar interlude stuff. And I don't know, it's 52 minutes long. It's 11 songs. I think they're all good. There's nothing bad here. Tons of great playing. Rob Halford just sounds absolutely incredible for 72 years old. There's one knock against it. It's a little like single-minded in the pursuit of just like speed and fury. And not, I could use a couple more change-ups, a couple more like, they used to throw in an acoustic song or a song about, homosexual activity by Rob Halford, just to keep people off balance. The leather and studs kind of stuff. The Eat Me Alive stuff like that. Just kind of like throw you off course a little bit, take away from like the pure metal fury. And there's not enough of that. Although the one bonus track, The Lodger, I think could have been fit into the album somewhere and would have provided that little respite. So yeah, it's a little one note, but it's such a good note. And any Judas Priest fan is going to love this. This is the rough and rowdy ways of like metal. The fact that these 70-year-olds can produce something like this, just incredible. I mean, I compare it to like an Iron Maiden album, and they've gotten like really kind of plodding in to put it nicely in the 2010s and 2020s. They just don't have that fire that seems to be still burning in Rob Halford and the boys here in Judas Priest. And yeah, it's kind of similar to their old stuff. It really is, but I think that is a it's a feature, not a bug for a band like this. And this late in their career, I will take metal like this because there's really no one else providing it the way that they do. So I'm at like a 4, but a high 4, not quite at 4.5. I don't think it's quite as good as Defenders of the Faith or something like that. But for 2020s, still producing this kind of level of metal is a just a blessing from Judas Priest. So yeah, it's a good album. I'm sure it'll make my top 10.
All right, cool. Well, let us know what you think of this record if you've heard it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. Check the video description if you're interested in our Patreon, or you can follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one.